Hey, what's going on, guys? Zach with Brothers Chemical. All right, so single stage enamel trailers can be some of the hardest removals in the industry. The reason for that is there is no clear coat. So the pigment and the shine's in one layer, and then we stick graphics to it, and then we remove it, and we've got a lot of adhesive, and we need to put a solvent on it. So a lot of people want to reach for brake cleaner, xylene, or acetone. You've got to have a glue remover that is surface safe and still enough to remove this glue. So we didn't want to damage this trailer. And if you're removing graphics, you're going to rewrap over it. That's a different story. But if you just got to remove some cut lettering and you want to make sure that you don't have any tool marks, steam is a really good option. This is a Chief Steamer 75. It's a good quality steamer made in Italy. We just put a toilet bowl plunger on the end with a pipe clamp. So we removed all the cut lettering and the glue's remaining. So what we're going to use is Adhesive-Off Pro Low-VOC. This is our California compliant adhesive remover. So our original formula, Adhesive-Off Pro, that's got a black label. This has a white label. And so it's a little bit lower of an odor, still very effective on glue, but we've seen it be very safe for surfaces. So if you're doing a single stage enamel, you want to use the right product. So we'll show you how this works right now. What we're going to do is we're working outside of direct sun with adhesive remover, because you don't want adhesive remover or any solvent really to dry out from the sun on a single stage enamel. So working in the shade, we're just going to soak this down. We've got our chemical resistant big blade with our holder. This will put our hand in just a little bit better of a position where that beveled edge isn't sticking right into your hand. So this is pretty cool. So the key to bulk glue remover is dwell time. So you want a product that's not going to flash off too quickly, like a xylene or an acetone, denatured alcohol, butyl acetate. Adhesive-Off Pro will evaporate slowly, and it's going to be tough on this glue, but safe on surfaces. So single stage enamel, you never know what you're going to get. So always test in an inconspicuous spot before you start removing glue. Make sure your customers are signing waivers for surface damage, stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and soak this down, give it a minute to dwell, and then scrape it off. So you don't want to spray it and then immediately start trying to remove it with your scraper. You got to give it time to swell the adhesive. So give it a minute or two, sit here and look at it. All right, so it's starting to soften the top layer of that adhesive. So we'll just start breaking that off. So this is quite a bit of glue that was left on the substrate. So you can see a lot of glue is coming off on each swipe. There's a little bit of detergent and Adhesive-Off, and it helps break the surface tension because you've got to get the glue up from the substrate. But then if you're using something like a xylene, you get the glue off, then the xylene dries out and the glue hardens back up and sticks to the surface. So the key to removing on enclosed trailers with single stage enamel is gentle. Take your time. If you're trying to preserve the surface, use a steamer, use your non-marring tools, and use as surface safe as you can get that's still gonna remove the glue. So on this trailer, we were able to get all the glue up. All we're gonna do is wash this vehicle with Ghost-Off Oxodation Remover, and we'll get it back to the customer. If you weren't going to wash this vehicle, you could just wipe down wherever your adhesive remover was with isopropyl alcohol, and you'll be ready to stick. But we're going to wash this trailer with Ghost-Off Oxidation Remover, so I skipped that step. So just knocked our adhesive remover off, and then we'll show you real quickly how to use Ghost-Off. So Ghost-Off Oxidation Remover was primarily meant for removing oxidation on gel coat from boats and RVs, anytime, or some really old powder coat. Anytime you have oxidized like chalking, it's very hard to stick stickers on that. So if you want to remove that, you can use Ghost-Off Oxidation Remover before you start pulling out the wheel. So we'll go ahead and just, every time you use Ghost-Off, you just want to start with a wet surface. You'll apply your Ghost-Off and just give it 1 minute of dwell time. All right, so after a minute of dwell, you just take a brush, agitate that product. Then you just rinse it clean. All right, so we've got our adhesive up. We've got it cleaned up with Ghost-Off. Just clean up any areas we missed. And you're good to go. So the things to remember when you're removing on an enclosed trailer with single stage enamel. Use safer solvents. So don't use brake cleaner, don't use xylene. Use something like Adhesive-Off Pro Low-VOC. and then use non-marring tools. So use a big blade scraper, don't use metal on these things. If you can remove cleanly from these and get a good surface safe product to get this glue up, you can get these back to your customers and they'll be very happy.